What I do want to do, though, is start with a story about early in my career as a hacker. I was able to build and run the first red team for the Department of Defense. That meant that I was allowed to travel anywhere in the world that the Department of Defense was. If you're a small town guy from upstate Vermont, that's a really big map. You can throw a dart and basically pick anywhere to travel to and gamble that DoD is going to have a presence. And we did lots of cool, very innovative things. But it was one assessment early on, I think it was 1996 in my career, where I was working at Special Operations Command. And if you're not familiar with Special Operations Command, I know we have many retired members of the military in the audience with us. That is our Special Forces community, located down in Tampa, Florida. It's a very interesting command, lots of great folks. Those are kind of the true warriors. You walk in their lobby and you're presented with these gold-plated AK-47s that they've taken off of drug lords and dictators and kind of all sorts of interesting stuff. But I was presented with a challenge during this assessment, and that challenge was that the head of Special Operations Command, the general in charge of the entire command, when I did the assessment, had a one-character password. And I talked with his staff and raised this as an issue, and they said, oh yeah, that's his combat-ready password. You don't want to talk to him about that. But it was my obligation as somebody who was conducting this red team to address it with him. So here I am sitting with the head of Special Operations Command, and talked about the assessment that we had done, gave him kind of the overall briefing, and I said, sir, there's one more thing I'd like to talk to you about. I said, that's your one-character password. Looks at me and says, that's my combat-ready password. Yes, sir, I understand that. I said, but we are in Tampa, Florida. Special Operations Command is like a secure building within a secure base. Like, are we really in a position where you need a combat-ready password? And he just kind of looked at me and did this like, huh. Here I am. He has been in the military longer than I've been alive at this point. And I'm trying to define for him what is combat ready and what is not combat ready. So I tried another angle. I said, sir, let me make an observation. I had been there when his predecessor had been there, and then there was a change in command, and then I had been working with him. I said, did you notice what happened in the parking lot when you took command here? And he said, no, I didn't notice what happened in the parking lot. I said, well, I did, because I've been working here for a while. I said, I noticed whether your driver drove you or you drove yourself, you pulled into your parking space backwards. Any of our military people want to guess or tell us what that is called? Combat-ready parking. Got to pull out quickly. Of course, then you got to wait for the pylons to go down and the gates to open, but you're pulled in backwards. I said, did you notice how long it was until everybody in your chain of command was also reversing into their parking spots? And he said, no, I didn't catch that. I said, well, I did. I said it was 2 weeks before everyone started backing into their parking spots. I said, so you obviously have an impact. People emulate your behavior. How long do you think it'll be until people start emulating your one-character password, your combat-ready password, and what will the impact be on the safety and security of your troops? And he looked at me and he said, son, I'll change my effing password. So success. But today I'm here to talk to you about your one-character password. And it's not a talk about cybersecurity, it's a talk about not being surprised about the future. I want to talk to you about the technology landscape as I see it, as we are observing it, and make sure that you have an orientation towards the future, because things are going to get very interesting in the next 5 to 10 years. In fact, I believe that the technology disruption of the next 5 to 10 years is going to be greater than the last 60 years combined.